let's say you had a wheel, right, with spokes, and in the center of that wheel is a hub, right? This wheel represents multiple mind hives. Let's take a wheel and let's place it sideways like this, and then a wheel long ways like that, where the two hubs intersect each other, right? So you got two hubs that intersected each other. One wheel's going this way and one wheel's going that way, and it almost makes a sphere, right? Well, let's say that at the center of one of those wheels was the hub, is me, the Hubble telescope, right? Which was very well known by certain entities here in the United States. And then the other wheel is the media mind hive, right? And somewhere in this wheel, you might even have another wheel that goes kind of diagonal like this. But all of those hubs ended up intersecting, right? So you could have a DARPA wheel going this way. And that would represent three mind hives, or 3-in-1 oil from Pinky and the Brain, right? Now let's say that there was somebody on this planet who had migraines when they were a child. And those migraines came from the entity that gave all of you this technology, right? Now let's say inside of these mind hives, which is basically illegally hacking somebody's mind with electromagnetic technology and linking them up to satellites, all three of them. Well, DARPA and possibly the NSA might have paperwork for the people that they attach to their mind hives. And once you join the military, you're considered government property anyway. So they even though it's kind of fucked up, they got an excuse, because they might have had to hack people's minds to make sure that foreign actors weren't hacking their minds, because now you got these three different wheels. Now, if you remember when Q first came out, he was talking about everything is connected. What is Q? It's a circle, right, with a little tail, with a tail coming off of it, right? See, Q's from the cosmos, okay? Q is the Q from Star Trek. You know, he just snaps his fingers and magic happens, right? Now, let's say it was very, people like the NSA at Fort Meade and people like DARPA and especially Lockheed Martin, Boyd Bushman and E.T., the second remote, Dr. Taylor, coming off the Q. Let's say that they wanted to exploit these other two hubs that didn't have paperwork to hack people's minds to election metal. Well, how would you do that? Well, what you'd do is make those other two hubs think that they were going to use me to set up Dan Patrick, right? So the other hubs who were connected to these other hubs was under the impression that I was about to set up Dan Patrick. And the only way that they could be under the impression that I was going to set up Dan Patrick was the FISA court was going to have to make the evidence that I was going to gain from setting up Dan Patrick admissible in court. Of course, they didn't want anybody talking about it, right? So that those two wheels that were trying to exploit Dan Patrick while they were attached to me tried to assassinate me after I set up Dan Patrick. Right? They thought I did. I didn't set up Dan Patrick. And then that admissible evidence could be used as blackmail against Dan Patrick, because they found that blackmail through the normal course of surveilling somebody that had a FISA court pulled on them because I was married to a Russian. Even though even that's crooked. Right? But if you wanted to get outside the box and you wanted to catch these other two wheels acting in a way that was nefarious, which is exactly what they were doing, well, you would hack somebody that was in a different hub. There's the two hubs there, and then you had the third hub, right? See, the third hub was keeping tabs on the other two hubs and wheels and mind hives as they were using me to accomplish nefarious activities. Now, whether or not the FISA court, I'm just sitting here thinking, if you wanted all of this to be admissible in court, well, you'd want the FISA court present, surveilling absolutely everything that took place while these other two hubs were spirit cooking me and using me to exploit a political opponent. So one of these hubs used me, right? I'm pretty sure I know who that was, because they probably have paperwork, like I said, curfew violation and failure to identify self and all of that. General Laporte, Captain Sims, and Command Center Seoul in the skiff there in Korea. And my friend from Alvin just happened to also work there, Jolene Schneider, who was a Jewish interrogator. And then I also had the Russian translator buddy there, whose name is Alex Maltsev. And he was in the Army, okay, so there wasn't any Russian collusion going there because he was actually an Army soldier that I was friends with. So, Operation Bait and Tackle. Let's walk down there and fuck them all, right? Put a little bait out there, and then you came here and spirit cooked me and used me to set up Dan Patrick because y'all didn't like the fact that he was in the way of your Permian power play and he could actually flip the table over on you and fuck everybody. Especially now that this operation's over, which is Operation Sucker Punch. So these other two wills that were using me to spirit cook me to have your little war, your political war amongst each other, while our wills were combined, what you forgot about or didn't realize was there was that third hub. And that third hub, E.T. and Boyd Bushman, connected all of you. Everything's connected. So you had 3 wheels with 3 hubs connected, and I was at the center of all 3 hubs. Now, when I close my eyes, I can navigate through those tunnels, you know, those little tunnels that I navigate through, and it goes from one person's mind to another. That's the spokes, right? That goes down to a person, okay? And this is a mind hive, so it's like a little switchboard in there, okay? And I can see all of this when I close my eyes. And I'll traverse through a tunnel over to here, and I'll see a politician having gay butt sex with somebody. Sometimes it's little children, sometimes it's not. And I'm in this mind hive. And then I'll go through another little tunnel over to here, and there's another politician, sucking somebody's dick while they get fucked in the ass by a strap-on dildo or something like that. Yeah, I can actually see all that in my heads-up display. So let's say that entity, that third wheel, Operation Bait and Tackle, which might have been the FISA court, whom wanted all of this to be admissible, and their job is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, is to, as long as you have a FISA court, a warrant on somebody who's let's say you legitimately got it, which they didn't. They didn't legitimately get it, but we'll say they did if they're on my side. We're about to find out. Let's say they legitimately got the FISA court, they got a warrant on me so that they could surveil anybody that was in this mind hive legally because they had a FISA warrant on me. And you had 3 hubs. You got 3 hubs all connected, so all 3 wheels are connected. So as long as they're surveilling me while I'm in this mind hive, they can surveil everybody in the hub because it's a foreign intelligence surveillance. And 2 of these hubs are not domestic. I'm almost convinced of that. And if there are, there's a lot of foreign actors in the hub. So the third hub laid the trap. Your Operation Bait and Tackle, the media mind hives, Washington, and everybody that's affiliated with these mind hives in Washington, who are also connected to foreign actors in the dark web, which is a mind hive. Everything that I've seen while I was attached to y'all's hubs and your wills was captured either by DARPA or the NSA. It's one or the two. Okay. And the FISA court made everything that was captured admissible in the court of law. So, everybody that was attached to me through your Mind Hive media and politicians in Washington, Hollywood, billionaire elite, and all of these different people like that was attached to this third wheel for Operation Bait and Tackle, everything that was plucked out of y'all's heads while you spirit cooked me because the polarity reversed on you would be admissible in the court of law because they had a legal FISA warrant on me. And that was the Dan Patriot trick while y'all were trying to use me for nefarious activities, you were being set up for using me. And in the end, the FISA court could say that everything they captured was admissible in court now, which buries all of you. And if you pay attention to that barisma, remember how I talked about AI and barium? They spray it out of chemtrails, aluminum and barium. Well, barisma, yeah, Joe Biden, Biden, Hunter, his son, Hunter Biden, right? And all of these emails they're talking about. I'm a Biden. I have two technologies in me. And then I have the supernatural, which somebody used that to exploit all of you. And if that supernatural was used by the FISA court to exploit all of you, well, y'all are fucked. Unbelievably fucked. Okay. Everything that they've ever captured through your MindHive dark web network will be admissible in the court of law. Literally, all of that stuff that I went through them tunnels and I seen in your MindHives, all the dirt, all the blackmail, is captured into computers and monitors, quantum AI, either at Fort Meade or DARPA. It's one of them. And they're recording every bit of that. And then all of these videos where I've explained all of this and exactly how it works will also be admissible in the court of law, which will convince a court of law that these MindHives exist. And once they're convinced that these MindHives exist, the information with expert witnesses that will be provided through the FISA court will also be admissible, and they'll have to recognize that as solid evidence, right? So, you know, FISA court, remember how I was talking about in one of them latest videos? I said, yeah, I calculated about 50 different million ways you could fuck people with that FISA court. Well, maybe it was the FISA court that was listening this entire time. If that's the case, their FISA court, well, Hunter, as in Bounty Hunter, who's a Biden, with a whole lot of emails and videos, well, that's a whole lot of bounties you owe me. Oh, and obviously cooked up President Trump's presidency, you know, pegging oil to Bitcoin and all that. So, everything that I just explained, seeing how this is a parallel reconstruction, which actually Trump's presidency is a parallel reconstruction of my life's events. It's not the other way around. So since Trump's presidency, especially in this video that I just made here, everything was a parallel reconstruction, and that Shaq KIA video was your demonstration as to when you hacked his mind with that illegal technology. Well, he's married to a Soviet supermodel who was in Hustler magazine, right? So if all of these circumstances that apply in my case, where the Operation Sucker Punch, where you attacked a duly elected president with illegal technology, if all of the circumstances present in my case are the identical to the circumstances present in President Trump's case, what makes you think that they didn't have a FISA warrant on him this entire time, observing all of you hack his mind and attaching you? Remember, he was an outsider when y'all sucked him in to be president? Blackmail, basically. Y'all blackmailed him into being president. Well, maybe that was the whole thing this entire time. Maybe the FISA court laid him out there as bait because he was married to a Soviet supermodel who was in Hustler magazine, knowing that they could legally surveil him, so whenever you attached him to your other MindHives, they could extract all of the information in the same manner that I just explained. The light in the air set up a major long play, legally entrapped all of you. Everything is admissible because the army has paperwork. Ho, 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 ho. And And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you trump the AI takeover.